It wasn't long until Quincy came home one day and told us he was joining the Air Force. I remember thinking that we might have done too good of a job teaching our children how to be independent. Both proud and fearful, we put him on a train bound for Texas. It seemed as if he was going to the moon. Mabel rented a small trailer down in East Bank and got a job working for Kroger. I would keep the baby for her when she worked. An opening came up for help in our post office, which was very convenient for her. She was accepted and started right away. After a couple of years, Johnny's tour was up and he was stationed in California, and Mabel left to join him once again. She talked me into applying for her position at the post office, so I took the test and put in my application. I was really nervous as I had been a homemaker my entire life. To my surprise, I got the job. Thelma took care of the kids as she always did while I was at work. I couldn't have made it without her. My friend Lucille took care of Jimmy while she was at school. He loved Lucille and Lucille loved him back. One day, however, I stopped to pick Jimmy up on my way home from work, and Lucille wanted me to sit down because she had something to say. With tears running down her cheeks, she told me that Jimmy was throwing a huge tantrum, beating his head against the floor. She said she couldn't get him to stop. Lucille paused, trying to get control of herself, and then she said, "I slapped him across the face. Not hard, but I saw a change in his eyes. I believe I broke his spirit." Not knowing what to say, I said nothing, and we never spoke of that again, but it shows how deeply she cared for him. Life was good at our little home by the tracks. Sometimes it lulls us into a state of ease and we let down our guards. Up the hill and across the main road lived the Gelots. Pauline Gelot was a close friend of mine who actually married my brother Ronald a few years back, so I knew the Gelots well enough to let Jimmy go to their house and play with the other kids. One hectic day when Jimmy was 5, I had Kenneth take him to their house to play. I was busy cooking dinner and getting ready for Lonnie to come home from work. When Lonnie arrived, I sent Kenneth to fetch Jimmy from the Gelots. Lonnie came into the house, and just as he embraced me, we heard this deafening screech coming from up the hillside. Lonnie bolted up the hill when Kenneth came running down to tell us that Jimmy had been hit by a car. I thought my heart would jump out of my chest. I finally got a ride to the hospital and I rushed into the emergency room where they had taken Jimmy. I finally found Lonnie. Tears streamed down both our faces as we hugged each other tightly. Lonnie told me that when he got to the top of the hill, he saw Jimmy laying beside the road, unconscious. He said he picked him up and got into the first car he saw and told them to take him to the hospital. He was not going to wait for the ambulance. Jimmy was alive, and although he was hurt pretty badly, the doctors told us that he should have a full recovery. Besides the cuts and bruises, he suffered a broken pelvis and had to learn how to walk again. Everyone blamed themselves, but there was no blame needed. I was just so thankful.